Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Royal Sussex Live. Welcome, one and all. Okay. Wow, how many things do I have open here? All right, let me close one of these screens. I am hearing a massive echo. Sorry, I sounded a bit distracted, but I had like several screens open, but we're good now. And all right, so there we go. There's our thumbnail. Okay. Let's see. Fancy. Thank you so much for being here first. I had some minute news. Last minute news. I'll share it with you in just a moment. Um, well, anyway, hello to everyone. Someone sent me I was about to say a Mr. Coffee. Am I showing my age? Somebody sent me a Mr. Coffee. No, someone sent me a buy me a coffee. So thank you so much for that. Nice start for the night. Um, let's see here. Okay, and I missed one from the 20th of July. I'm so sorry, I did not see that. But thank you for that as well. All right. Got that. What am I missing? Nothing. I think I'm good. Yeah. All right. Hi, Susie Q, Carol Lund, Dansby, Lady Rose. I'm sorry. Yeah, Lady Rose. Lydia Washington, Sharon Skinner, Rodney Jackson. Hello to everyone. Thank you for being here. Okay. Um, this was the last minute news. I mean, look at the time. Look at the time. It's only been out for not even a half hour. Breaking: Melinda Gates has endorsed Vice President Kamala Harris, citing her incredible defense of women's reproductive freedom and her main reasoning when voters elect Kamala Harris as president and a Democratic Congress, Roe versus Wade will be codified into law. So there you go. For those reasons, for the women's right to choose what happens to their body, she has decided to back Kamala. So I haven't seen it by on any official thing yet. I just this one website, or I'm sorry, but I hope it is true. But matter of fact, let me take a look and see if anybody else has it. But so far, that seems to be what everyone's going with. Uh, okay, okay. I'm just gonna say I hope it is true, but it seems like that may be the case. I tried to find Melinda Gates' um, Twitter account. I could not find it. So, but yeah. So hopefully that is true. Uh, oh, let's see. Black Queen says, Baron Squatties, did you see allegedly Meghan Kelly getting dragged for responding to a tweet by saying our vice president slept her way to the top? You know what? I've seen a few things like that, and that is like the biggest name, even though she's not as mainstream anymore. But I would not be surprised. I would not be surprised. They said that the I guess for lack of a better word, that the knives are going to come out now. And I think that the momentum that Kamala Harris has is, uh, I guess, what do you call it? I guess it's like putting the RNC, well, the Republicans, all of the gatekeepers like Megyn Kelly, it is putting them in a panic. They are panicking over the idea that Kamala is actually polling better than Trump. You know, I believe Biden had been a point or two behind for a long time. And they said one of the reasons why it took so long for Biden to make up his mind, they say, we don't know if that's true or not, is that um, he wasn't sure that she was going to be able to carry it. But I'm telling you, the momentum, she has the big mo. And this week is definitely shaping up to be um, a big hit, a big what do you call it? Well, her appeal to the base is massive, but also I think her appeal to just mainstream America is slowly going to start creeping in, especially when it comes to women's reproduction rights. I think it's going to bring a few people over from the dark side. So let's see how that goes. But thank you so much for that, Black Queen. Um, Not surprising though, but no, I have not seen that myself. Okay. All right. Let's keep it moving. Let's keep it moving. Try to finish in like an hour, I hope. All right. So right here, congratulations to Birmingham, UK. And by the way, we're going to talk some more about the presidential race very soon. So, but let me get through this other business first. So, congratulations to Birmingham, UK, on winning the bid to host the Invictus Games 2027. Your city's strong ties to the armed forces community made it a formidable contender. Prince Harry, the Duke of Sussex, patron of the Invictus Game Foundation, not to mention the founder of the Invictus Game. Um, and just bear in mind, everyone, that Harry did recuse himself, as they say, when it comes to like the Supreme Court. He recused himself. He removed himself from the selection process. He left that to the board or the foundation, the board. He left it to them. He didn't want to get involved in it because he didn't want to put his own personal feelings into it, which, I can't be sure which side he would be on because um, I just think he made up his mind to stay out of it. So, oh, thank you, Jules Ryder. I appreciate that. Black Queen, let me see what you have here. Okay. The Rugrats just introduced on the vice president, accusing her border mess and hiding president's illness. They are. Oh, really? Yeah. Again, that is the desperation speaking. That is definitely desperation. And I also heard that they were going to try to pursue a lawsuit saying that Biden can't turn over his his campaign fund to the vice president because that money was raised in his name. But they're both on the ticket. So they are going to have some court challenges coming up. There's going to be several court challenges. And I believe that really starts with the Heritage Foundation, the people that are trying to get a look at Harry's visa status. So again, they they are going to, I suppose, get it as far into the mud as possible. Um, but I think the best thing for the Democrats and especially for the vice president is to enjoy this honeymoon period of the campaign because she is definitely the darling of the race at this moment. So I would say just collect the money and let the let this, at least for this week, let them, I guess, burn themselves out. Let them go into panic mode, because when people panic, they make mistakes, and they're making a lot of mistakes right now. So I say leave them to it. And then, when the time, plus, you know what, she's very smart. She'll know when. Well, actually, did you guys see where she, gosh, what was that she said? That she, well, you know what? I'll try to play it for you later. That's what I'll do. Let's see. HS, is it? No, it's RS. Thank you so much, RS, for the um, PayPal. Thank you so much for the PayPal. And thank you so much for being here. Oh, yeah. When I saw the name, I knew exactly who it was. I see that. And well, thank you very much. Yeah, I when I saw the last name, I recognized it. So I will keep that between you and I, but thank you very much for the PayPal. Okay. Um, and also thank you again, Black Queen. Elaine Parker, thank you so much for the super sticker. All right. And right here, we're so proud that Birmingham will host the 2027 Invictus Games. With our connection to the armed forces, we're already excited about this amazing event. Games founder Prince Harry visits Fisher House, which supports injured personnel in 2022. So I guess that was a 20. No, that couldn't have been 2022 because he's clean shaven there, right? So that couldn't have been a recent photo. I don't know how old that photo is, but it's not recent. I can assure you of that. Huh, interesting. But anyway, that is the tweet from the University Hospital Birmingham. So maybe they just, I don't know, maybe this guy is important to that photo. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe that's he wanted to put a picture of himself and Harry together. Huh? Maybe. But anyway, yeah, but that was their tweet. So I'm just sharing that with you. Hi, Joan Garcia, Brenda Gray. Brenda wants to say hi to a few people, and we can always help out with that. There you go. Okay, Invictus Games alumni says Prince Harry changed her life and family life. I made a video about this earlier, one of my short videos. Now, just so you guys know, I well, you probably noticed already, but I'll just explain it to you in case you get a little confused. The first part of the video, like the first 6 minutes, is the actual article from today. And then the second half, where it says keep watching or whatever, that's usually another video that you may have seen already related to the first video, right? So, since so few people watch the edited videos, I thought it would be a good idea to just attach them to the newer video, just in case you missed it. Because, to be honest, I may get like 20,000 views any given time for a video. And yet, when I do those edited videos, sometimes it's about 7,000 views. And the thing is, more work goes into that than into doing the live. So, just to make sure that you get a chance to see it. So, if you feel like you've seen it already, when you get about 7, 8 minutes in, uh, you can go ahead and just, I would say watch it, but it's up to you. But yes, you may feel like, oh, haven't I seen this before? Yes, the second half of the video, possibly. So I hope that makes sense to everyone. Okay. Moving on. So this is the photos that was with that particular article. And again, the article, Invictus Games alumni, there was a few people that had some kind words to say about our Prince Charming. There's the flag raising ceremony. I apologize, I don't have the video for that. And on the right, that is the photo that they used in the People magazine. And Dominic Reed gave a little speech when they raised the flag. It was all very touching. And, but yeah, so that was what happened in Birmingham. Let me see. Do I have the flag raising speech? I'm going to take a quick look and see if I have it. But no big deal if I don't. Okay, I did not save that, but no big deal. But anyway, that is what happened. Unfortunate thing is that there was barely any there wasn't much of a breeze. There was not much of a breeze. It was just like, you see the way the flag is limp. That is the same way it was. Um, they actually had to, I think, add a little footage to the promo video showing the flag waving. But during that whole ceremony, the flag was like a wet dish rag. It just laid there. So that was kind of a what do you call it? A big fat nothing burger in terms of the flag itself. But still, I'm glad they had the ceremony. Oh, you're still feeling that way? Um, listen, you all, please do not get too negative about this on social media, because I, I think it reflects really bad on Harry. And just so you all know, I mean, it's quite a ways away, but I'm going to say this from time to time. There are going to be members of the um, press that Harry will invite to this event. And just like last time, there was these attacks through social media on certain members of the press that were invited. um, they can't stay enemies forever. At some point, it makes sense. And when it makes sense, please let Harry decide when that makes sense. Harry and Meghan depend a lot on independent press. They depend a lot on social media, but still, there's a certain amount of coverage that you cannot get using social media and the independent press. So try not to say terrible things to these people. I know that it could be disappointing, some of the choices and decisions that they make, but they're grown and they're not hiding behind the walls of the stately, palatial, opulent, picturesque um, Montecito Manor, Sussex Manor in Montecito, where there are no leaks. They have to handle their business, and if you love and you trust them, then trust them to know what's right to do. I mean, they have to take some chances. They're not doing everything 100% cautious and safe, and you can't live like that. That's not living. So um, this is 3 years away. And in that 3 years, a lot of things can happen. I assume Charles will still be on the throne. Hopefully he will be. I mean, I'd hate for him, you know what I'm saying? I guess what I'm trying to say is it could be so much worse. But for now, as things stand, let the process play its way out. There was no way we could have expected Meghan and Harry to slip into the UK, bringing the children and visiting Queen Elizabeth II. And we didn't know about it until after the fact. Harry goes to visit the Queen's tomb. We didn't know about it until after the fact. Okay? There's certain things that are done through the back channels and such. His father is still his father. His family is still his family, and that is his nation of birth. And no matter who you are or where you're from, you always have that feeling that you want to go back home. So, but this, I am sure it was not his decision, but he is going to abide by it because if he didn't trust the board, they would not be there. So, okay, calm down, you all. Please calm down. Okay, and this, of course, oh gosh, what is her name? I forgot her name. I forgot her name. But anyway, she's the one that was in the service, and she was literally at the point where she didn't want to be here anymore. She was not available to her family. And she actually credits Harry and the Invictus Games for bringing her out of her shell and making her available to her family again. So that is a story that we've heard over and over and over again. So again, credit to Prince Harry for the Invictus Games. Oh yeah, and there she goes with her boxing gloves. Okay. All right. Moving on. And that, of course, that's Elizabeth Marks, right? She's Team USA, I believe. They didn't say much. I don't think they said anything about her in the article, but yet her picture was there. So, and this guy, he lost two legs and one of his arms. And again, someone who has used the Invictus game to get back into, I guess, get back to his life again. Oh, and this right here, I am 10 giant sign marks Invictus Game 2025 in Vancouver and Whistler. So this is in Vancouver, Whistler, not Birmingham. They just unveiled that today. And there it is. I'll do it from here. Let me bring that up. Okay. Organizers of the seventh Invictus Games are looking to ignite heightened awareness and excitement in anticipation of the Vancouver Whistler 2025 Games, coinciding with the 200-day countdown. Wow, 200 days until the opening ceremony in February 2025. The first of 10 giant signs were unveiled today near the Vancouver Olympics Caldron and Jack Pole Plaza, or is it Pool? Jack Pool Plaza, just outside Vancouver Convention Center West Building. All the signs feature stacked words that read "I am" as part of the organizing committee's "I Am Vancouver Whistler 2025 campaign. A large QR code on the back side of each sign leads to more information about the Invictus Games. Oh, that's pretty cool. Oh, they're 10 feet high with a depth of 6 feet. 976 pounds. Is that almost a ton, right? And at nighttime, they're illuminated by LED lights. Well, at least one of them. Okay, so that's that for the sign. I promise you, we're going to be out of here in an hour. But don't worry, we're going to talk some more about Kamala Harris. Okay. There is another photo of it. That is beautiful. That is beautiful. It's too large to make it into a keychain, that's for sure. Now, this was on earlier today. So this is a little preview about the ITV phone hacking little documentary that they have. So let me cue that up, and then we'll talk about it on the other side. It's actually pretty long, so I'm not going to play the whole thing. It's about 7-8 minutes long, I think. So that wouldn't make sense, but let's get this going here.
Flat and nothing. So in the case of my flat burglary, yeah, it was quite spectacular in that the whole door had been taken off its hinges. It's a big walk up, like 4 floors up. And yes, they'd been through the flat and nothing was stolen. They'd been there to get information. And a lot of information about the interior and the contents of my flat appeared in newspapers a couple of days later. And there's never been a burglary before or since.
The actor recently made these claims in legal action against The Sun, allegations the newspaper has always denied.
Could you imagine? Could you imagine? Let me just say this. As an American and as someone who's, lived in a big city most of my life, I could not imagine one of our big city newspapers, or any newspaper for that matter. I could not imagine a newspaper or a media company paying someone to knock my doors off the hinges, to unhinge the door, to kick down the door, break it down, just to get into my flat, my apartment, to gather information. As though there was a crime being committed on the other side of the door. That is outrageous. That is outrageous. Who does that? That was as subtle as a thunderstorm. That would be like rolling a tank through the wall. And then the information ends up on television. Well, not television, in the newspapers. That is insane. There's no rationale for that. There's no rhyme or reason for anything like that happening. You just could not imagine that in the United States. Yes, if there is a crime being committed, the police have a right to enter your property without a warrant, but the media taking it upon themselves to go into your medical files. He said that they had put microphones in his letterbox, a microphone in his car, any place and every place, as though he's a criminal. And it seems like, to try to explain this to people in the US, when I talk about this whole thing with the phone hacking and stuff, they look at me and I don't think they believe me. I don't think that they believe me, because I don't know that we have anything that's an equivalent to this except for Watergate. You have to go to a judge to get permission. Law enforcement has to go to a judge to get permission to do that type of surveillance on people. They can't just take it upon themselves to do that. And here you have Rupert Murdoch's media doing exactly that. And then, of course, breaking someone's door down, they don't even care if you know it or not. That is insane. And still, very few people ever saw the inside of a jail. Very few people ever saw the inside of a jail for something like that. That is equally amazing.
To exact justice on those in the newspaper industry he believes commissioned unlawful activity to invade his privacy. Appearing in a new ITV documentary, Tabloids on Trial, the actor speaks for the first time about his recent settlements with the Sun newspaper. Prince Harry, Charlotte Church, Paul Gascoigne, Gordon Brown, plus people who weren't famous but found themselves catapulted onto the front pages or feature in the programme, which airs on ITV1 and ITVX at 9 o'clock this Thursday evening. Our correspondent Rebecca Barry, who's reported on the phone hacking scandal over the last decade, heard the impact on from some of its most high-profile victims.
This isn't something that's only about phone hacking. There was microphones in window boxes outside the house. There were trackers, microphones dropped into my car. There were medical records of me and mothers of my children, for instance, all blagged and stolen out of the NHS. And perhaps most spectacularly, the burglary of both my flat and my office.
Speaking to me in an ITV documentary, this is Hugh Grant's first interview.
I cannot wait. I don't know how I'm going to see this, but I cannot wait.
They'd been there to get information, and a lot of information about the interior and the contents of my...
To me in an ITV documentary, this is Hugh Grant's first interview since his settlement with the Sun newspaper. He made these claims in his recent legal action, allegations the newspaper has always strongly denied.
In the case of my flat burglary, yeah, it was quite spectacular in that the whole door had been taken off its hinges and nothing was stolen. They'd been there to get information, and a lot of information about the interior and the contents of my flat appeared in newspapers a couple of days later.
How do you feel today?
They were so brazen that they not only gave details about the interior, they published photos. They published photos. Who does that? They literally published photos. They did not care what he felt or what he thought.
Abuser, the press.
From the age of 16, Charlotte Church was being hacked by the News of the World.
There's just a level of paranoia and anxiety. We used to say, oh God, have they tapped our phones? Have they got microphones in our house?
Let's go.
So my mother, already an incredibly vulnerable woman, her mental health was really bad. And I'd found her after taking an overdose. She was in a really bad way. And that was straight in the press. Straight in the press. No idea again where it came from. I mean, it was horrific. And she's never been able to fully come back from the abuse that she suffered.
In 2012, the publisher of the News of the World paid substantial damages and offered its sincere apologies. The News of the World was settled with a full apology in 2012. The Sun settled later without admitting liability. Other allegations.
I says, you have. You're the only two I've spoke to. I love my mum and dad. So to think they thought they were hackers was good.
In 20...
Okay, I'm so sorry I skipped ahead. This is kind of long, so I don't want to play the whole thing, but that just makes my blood boil. It really does. That was the guy with the bald head that you saw when I first mentioned this documentary. Oh man, that is just Charlotte Church was a child. She was not an adult. She was a child. And they just decided to go after her. And as Harry was saying, that these are not like some type of retired police officer. These photographers, these paparazzi, or these like private detectives or whoever they are, these are thugs. These are people that probably have some criminal record or criminal history, and you're sending them after Hugh Grant, Charlotte Church, and just about anybody else. Mostly they were targeting just everyday working class people. Like when they had the what was it, the 7-Eleven, 11-11, whatever, the with the bus and the subway, they wanted to know the background, all of the secrets they can find of everyone who was a victim. They wanted to know everything about the victims, delving into their private lives as though they were accused, as though they were the criminals. Wow. This is going to be I hope that this makes an impact. I mean, I'm over here and it upsets me. So I hope it makes the right kind of impact. I hope that it targets the right people. I hope they put some people in jail, because here's a wad of money. Here's a stack. Sorry about that. My bad. That's not going to cut it. Joan Garcia says, Barron, Republicans telling Democrats how to allocate their funds reminds me of Brits telling Meghan and Harry how to live their lives. Looney Tunes. Thank you so much for the super chat. Did they say how much money that I think they, okay, let me think. Now, I want to say I heard that the Harris campaign has raised like $300 million so far. Is that right? Is it possible that they're going to have like $500 million by the end of the week? If that is the case, that is the reason why they are panicking, because this is turning into, and I don't want to speak too soon, but it almost reminds me of the Obama momentum. You know what I mean? It reminds me of that. I'm feeling that momentum right now. It's been too soon, and we don't have that long of a campaign period. Like what, 100 days out? But it feels like that level of momentum is growing. I'm just saying. And they don't even have like any big ad campaign or anything like that. They don't have hope and change and that kind of thing. It'd be interesting to know what they come up with, if anything. I mean, if they just say, I'm not Trump and I don't want to be, I'm sold. I'm already sold. So yeah, that would be very interesting. Okay. Oh, by the way, thank you again. And Anne Grumley says, oh, I like those red boxing gloves. Need a pair. Why? Is someone in trouble? Is someone in trouble? Let me see. There you go. Well, if someone is in trouble, let me know how it works out. And thank you so much for the super chat. Somebody must be in trouble. Okay. All right. Let's see. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me see. Oh, yeah. All right. Thank you so much for your comment. Okay, moving on. Um, Duchess of York. Duchess of York, Sophia. She's doing a Sophia. How about that? I didn't know they made these in a two-tone, but that is gorgeous. That is gorgeous. And of course, Queen Mathilde, daughter of Princess Elizabeth, uh, Queen Mathilde's daughter of Princess Elizabeth. Wait, Queen Mathilde. Anyway, the daughter of Princess Elizabeth. I'm sorry, the daughter Princess Elizabeth copied Meghan Markle in hot pink fitted dress, and of course, we know that that is the Sophia. It is a very elegant and timeless design, I should say that. And of course, we all remember when Meghan wore this in March of 2020. March of 2020. And thank you, Marielle, for this, who says, why drab Kate? No match for, I'm sorry, one more time. I'm falling all over myself today. Why drab Kate's no match for stylish dye by Margaret Atwood, Canadian author, dismisses Duchess as uneventful dresser who is told what to wear by advisors. Now, that was back in 2015. And then take a look here on the right. Drab, boring, frumpy Kate Middleton is the new style icon of curtain chic. Other royals seem to have more style than Kate Middleton. She often looks dull and boring. And that was back in February of 2018. And we all know what was coming back in 2018. Let me see. They had just announced the engagement in November. And by May of 2018, Harry and Meghan were married. And of course, before Meghan arrived, Kate, let's just say it was not very impressive, her efforts at presenting herself as a royal princess or a royal duchess. It was very lackluster. And if you ask me, not much has changed. Some people just do not wear fashion well. But the old saying is, fashion is something you buy. Taste is something you either have it or you don't. And she doesn't have very good taste. Princess Anne flies to Paris for Olympic meeting in her first trip abroad since hospitalization. I think they're pushing it too fast. I don't know if this is a recent photo of her, but she looks awful. She's been looking very odd since the accident, since whatever it was. She's been looking very odd. Maybe it's just the selection of photos that they have, but she looks like someone who's been through a near-death experience. So maybe whatever happened was probably worse than what people know about. And that is provided it was a horse. Remember, she has no recollection. But if we find her riding around the Champs-Élysées or over in Montmartre, astride a horse, if people start having Napoleon sightings on the streets of Paris, then we will know that that blow to the head was more severe than anyone ever thought it was. Right? I'm just saying, wouldn't that be interesting if people start saying that they thought they saw Napoleon? If people start phoning in Napoleon sightings, like a statue just jumped off the pedestal and ran up the street. But oh god, that would be funny. But yeah, I think they should check her. They should have checked her luggage to make sure she didn't take her Napoleon costume. And how about this Charlotte Whipshame? This Charlotte person, she just dropped out of the Olympics. I think she's doing what, the equestrian thing? Just dropped out of the Olympics because a 4-year-old video surfaced of her beating the crap out of a horse. They said she was doing the ropey dope on the horse. I mean, just had the poor horse in tears. Now she is like the Michael Jordan of whatever that part of the horse Olympic thing is. She's like been rated the best of the best. And now she's not even competing. Now she did apologize, and she even said that she committed a huge error and that she was ashamed and all that kind of stuff. But whatever the case may be, just 3 days before the Olympics, she has pulled out of the game. So better not try that on the Queen Consort. Yeah, she looks frail and confused, right? Yeah, she looks very frail and confused. That's what I thought, is that she looks really bad. And we don't know if these are just select photos that they're using to make the story more interesting. But if not, if these are pretty accurate, then that's scary. I certainly don't wish anything bad for anybody in that family. Okay, got another soundbite for you. Got another soundbite. Big karma. There's a spot of bother, a bit of karma. Karma. We love karma.
Detest the idea of this phrase that goes around, economic migrants. Well, boo-hoo, they're poor and we're rich. We got to swallow it up. Donkey's years ago, we went around the world, we took all their wealth, we killed a lot of their citizens. We said, we got a flag. It's
and
like
you reckon that's why they're coming here now?
Oh, I think our chickens are coming home to roost.
Well,
I genuinely do.
Well, there are some new chickens as well.
It's not necessarily, maybe so, but it's not necessarily about politics or anything like that. It's about karma. I detest the idea.
Okay. All right. Sorry, that was the end of it, where he said it's about karma. But yeah, that's it. I love what he said. I believe it to be true. When people in Western industrialized nations complain about immigration, migration, just remember it was the West, and principally Spain, Great Britain, the Dutch, the Portuguese, and so on, that went to the corners of the earth, and they took wealth, they took people, they brought diseases, they brought weapons, and, well, they wreaked havoc on native populations that hadn't done anything to them. And that is why Europe is the way it looks. That's why the US looks the way it does. That's why. And the chickens are coming home to roost. I don't have a problem with it. I don't have a problem with it. And even now, the the Western powers are still ruining lives in other countries. If you don't want people to come over here, stop making their lives difficult over there. As a matter of fact, put something back for a change. Give something back. Forgive some of the loans and the debt and such. Okay, that was my soapbox moment. Okay, you're going to love this. As a strong Black woman, I think we Blacks talk too much about racism. What say you? We do. We just talk too much about racism. Now, this is what everybody's talking about. Trump supporter, and I covered up the name because, well, I just did. This Trump supporter, let's call him Joey, forgot to log out of his burner account where he pretends to be a Black woman, right? So you cannot make this up. In the on the burner account, he says, Black all my life. I was born Black. I will die Black. My mommy Black. My daddy Black. That sounds weird. My mommy Black. I will never cast a ballot for that Kamala Harris woman as long as I live. Trump all the way, all day, every day. You don't say. Well, this is the person that this is the person right there. There's a picture in the upper left corner. That's Joey. Joey is the one. And this is the tweet, which has since been deleted. It was reposted 5 times. It was liked 25 times. It had 99 views. It wasn't out there long before people started to notice. Okay, stay with me. Stay with me. We'll get there. So here you can see the lady whose picture he used came forward, but it doesn't make sense. Apparently, he's in Europe as well. So where is this warehouse? So it says right here, why do you let him use your account? All right, so these are the answers to the very bottom part of the thread where it says, he don't use my account. He used my iPad when his behind was at my warehouse and left himself in the thing. Now got me out here messed up, about to put his phone number out and let y'all call him and ask him, right? So again, I was trying to keep everything very discreet because I don't want to send people to a stranger's account. But as you can see here, someone actually changed that meme. They changed the wording. As a strong Black woman, I think the royal family has done more for the Black community than Harry and Meghan. And they even put some Karen hair on the thing. But anyway, that's funny. But it has nothing to do with this thing. But I just thought I would share that. Oh, you can't see it, can you? There you go. That's what I was just referring to. I forgot to change the thing. But yes, there's bots all over X. Now, this is Joey's response. You're confusing me you're confusing me for your old girl, Montel. Volunteer on my friend's campaign screwed up a tweet and it was immediately corrected once we became aware of the error, right? That was what he was trying to say. And down there it says, didn't you get caught pretending to be a Black woman yesterday? All right. So again, I'm trying to be discreet. I'm covering up all this information. But look at here. It was on what's his name show? I forgot the guy's show, but they were talking about that just before I came on. They were talking about it. So now it's all out there. I'll tell you his name, by the way. I will tell you his name. He seems to be very proud of his work. He's Italian American, I think. And Joey Manari, wait a minute, Joey Manarino. Joey Manarino. That is his name. And so he used her account. I think what he did was he forgot to log her out and logged himself in and made that, well, he thought he had logged himself in or whatever, but he made that tweet on her account. So, yeah, blackfacing or blackfishing, as they say. Yeah, blackfishing. I think parents saying not to the other people, so argue about mentioning people of color and got my. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm not sure what that means. That was for someone else, or was that for me? Black women saying they won't vote for Kamala Harris. Black men and women saying that Kamala is not black. Sounds familiar. Yes, that too. And I think that, and you know, I'm very much against colorism, and I don't like to involve myself with the well, I won't say that. I don't come for people for their mixed race status. There increasingly is more and more mixed race people in the United States, right? Whereas before there wasn't as many, but now there's more. And race identity, how someone identifies their race has become such a hot button issue. I don't have an answer for it. We have that long history of the one drop rule, right? And it is all so confusing. And it's unfortunate that it's a thing, but it is a thing. And we have no choice but to face up to it. And I think if a person is of mixed race, you have a white mother or father, a black mother or father in this interracial relationship, and you consider yourself biracial, God bless you. I don't want to be the one to say you're this or that. That's up to you to figure out, right? But it causes so much stress to people who love both their parents equally, and they want to honor both sides of their family. They want to live the best of both cultures. How do you tell them what they can and cannot do, who they are, and what they should think or feel? I mean, that is really reaching. That is really reaching. And I don't think it's wise. And yet people do that. People do that far too often. Okay, I'll get to that in a minute. Let me take a look at a couple of your comments here. Let's see. Black people have become more and more bigoted against mixed race people. How dreadful. Yeah. I try to stay out of it. Okay. Yeah, that was some very weird grammar. My mommy black, my daddy black. I mean, what is he, 3 years old? uh, okay. Let's see. I was told that using women of color was okay, and it's just not. Okay, yeah. Well, again, that's one of those things that has evolved, and one thing may mean more to an older person or a younger person, so it's also confusing sometimes. And I think a lot of times people have the best of intentions, and still you well, I mean, just look at me. I keep having people telling me, you didn't pronounce this right, you didn't say that right. And, you know, um, some days I do things better than others, some days worse. And just when you think you got it all figured out, you don't. So, but don't be hard on yourself either way. Just do the best you can. That's all I can suggest, is just do the best you can. Yeah, I mean, I say people of color sometimes. I say people of color sometimes. And I've had people criticize me for saying people. Don't you mean black? No, I meant people of color. That's what I said. And you know, and I get it. If you say a woman of color, then it seems like you're not accepting someone as being a black woman. But with Meghan, I prefer to say a woman of color more often than I would say a black woman or a biracial woman, only because I can't identify her for her race. She has to do that, right? And some biracial people, they want to be known as black, you know, if they have someone of African descent as one of their parents, or they want to be known as biracial. Not everyone who's biracial wants to be seen as black. And then, of course, depending on their experience with racism, by the time they get older, they black. sometimes you have to experience life before you get your blackness straightened out. So but not everybody feels that way. Not everybody is you know, black or white, or they want to be known as biracial. So lots of labels, lots of labels. Oh, well, thank you for saying that. I'm glad to hear that. Okay. Yeah, I agree. I agree. I agree. I think people are just so I think people are very hard on biracial people, and in particular in the black community. If the person who identifies as biracial don't get it right with a certain sector of the black community, is hell to pay for that person. Let's see. If you are an African American in this country, you are mixed race. If we all took a DNA test, not one of us would be 100% African. We all have varying amounts of African blood. Well, in my case, there's about 15% of a European person inside of me, about 15%. And then there's some other stuff. And I would say like 79%, 79% of my DNA comes from Africa. So, I mean, technically, I would consider myself mixed race, but I don't for the sake of convenience, and plus, completely out of a habit. But certainly, one could make the case if you felt necessary to do so. Yeah, and Marshall, don't you think a lot of that is based on appearance? It really is based on appearance. A lot of that is based on appearance. Now, I don't consider myself to be light skinned. However, the weird thing is my arms are darker, right? And I guess that's from years of sun. And my face is darker, but my bare chest, you could actually see the veins. Not, you can see the veins. They look kind of bluish and greenish or whatever. You can see them, And of course, if I turn my arm over, you can see it. And I usually get a nice tan in the summer. And then in the wintertime, I start to fade a bit. So, but definitely, I just see myself as a Black person. But yeah, there a lot of it has to do with the skin tone, with the facial features and such. People judge or evaluate someone's worth in the community, and that is really, really sad. Okay, so the Grindr Super Bowl gay dating apps saw influx of users during Republican National Convention. Over 1,000 Grindr users reported an outage in Milwaukee, Wisconsin area while the RNC. I can't believe we're having this conversation, but they had an outage. Well, not an outage. I mean, there weren't many people. I don't think they were out, but I'm telling you, if they would have had like a mute challenge, if everyone in that convention hall was silent, all you would have heard was that bloop, bloop. You would have heard people's Grindr alert on their phones. Bloop. Wouldn't it be funny if, let's say, the vice presidential nominee, J.D. Vance, wouldn't it be funny if he was on the microphone and you hear that bloop? Or what about the Speaker of the House, who adopted a son, by the way, when he was barely an adult himself? Wouldn't it have been very humorous if his phone would have went bloop, bloop? So there you have J.D. Vance. You have, what's his name? Mike Johnson, the Speaker of the House, the Orange Menace, and a Black person. I think that's the guy that was on Bill Maher. He looks like that guy that was on Bill Maher. But I'm telling you, somewhere on that stage, bloop, bloop, you can hear that little alert sound going on. That was some convention. It makes me want to, if I was in Milwaukee, every time I got a $20 bill, I would inspect it just to, to find out if the struggle is real. I would expect it to find out if the struggle is real. Oh, if you know, you know. Okay. So Elon Musk backs down from the 45 million a month pledge to Trump, says he doesn't subscribe to cult of personalities. So if you don't subscribe to a cult of personalities, then why did you say you were backing him for president in the first place? If you're giving your endorsement, you're subscribing. Whether or not you come off the cash, who cares? You still put the word out there on the street, on these Twitter streets at that. Musk has a complicated relationship with the former president, Donald Trump. So what? He has a complicated relationship with everybody. Let me see. Timing was perfect. Still can't believe they waited until National Ice Cream Day to let Biden retire. So I guess it was National Ice Cream Day when Biden said that he was stepping down. And Elon Musk said the timing is perfect. But as you can see, they kind of fused Elon Musk and Trump into one thing there. I hedged a wrong bet. The horse turned out to be a donkey. That's right. That's the mascot for the Democrats, the donkey. So Elon Musk backs down. C'est la vie. Now, this is really exciting right here. This is very exciting. Thousands of Black men joined a virtual conference Monday night to fundraise for Kamala Harris' presidential campaign. According to the event organizer, the massive turnout helped dispel toxic myths about Black men's willingness to back a woman candidate. The event was hosted by Win with Black Men, a collective of organizers modeled after Win with Black Women, the activist group that held its own massive Zoom call to fundraise for Harris on Sunday. Journalist Roland Martin, activist Michael Blake, Khalil Thompson, and Quentin James, and political commentator Bakari Sellers hosted a men's conference. Sellers gave a passionate endorsement of Harris while explaining how she was one of the first people to call him when his baby daughter was very ill. So, Monday was a powerful show of Black men's broad support for the Harris campaign. A Win with Black Men organizer reported more than 53,000 Black men joined the virtual event on Monday to raise $1.3 million in 4 hours. The organizers say half of that will go to the Harris campaign and half will go to the organization that specializes in mobilizing Black men to vote. MSNBC hasn't independently verified the fundraising numbers. The Harris campaign did not immediately return a request for comment, and the energy surrounding the event was palpable enough to inspire organizers to commit to similar pro-Harris conferences geared toward other, what is that, demos? Like white women. Okay. So is that demographics geared toward other demographics? Like, okay. There you go. So that's what they had. And it seems like it was a huge success. And it even had that QR code. You stop reading my mind. Please stop reading my mind. uh, okay. But yeah, he does seem to be a bit top heavy, huh? Nobody can say he's not a pushover. Okay. Let me see here. So, Kamala Harris with her grandmother, Beryl. Oh, what a cute picture. And I imagine she's in Jamaica. I tell you, I feel like I'm looking at some of the early hip hop. That's what the vice president reminds me of, kind of like Salt and Pepper. And check it out. Do you all recognize the guy on the left side there? I mean, look at him. He looks like a little bit of a Scooby snack, doesn't he? Well, that, of course, is Doug Emhoff. That is the second gentleman of the United States. He wasn't always like he is now. And of course, you recognize the vice president from her younger days. So, yeah, there you go. Now, I'm trying to think. There was what movie was that? I'm thinking of a movie. And I don't know if it was Cooley High. I don't know what movie it was, but it was something with a cast of younger Black people. And remember, the guy was trying to impress the girl. And anyway, she looks like the girl that was in whatever movie that was. I think it was Cooley High. Claire McCaskill, what's going on here? Our own community can be the most cruel. My sister had to fight for me every day because my skin was light, almost near white. People in my own community disrespected me all my life. I am so sorry to hear that. And I really, really do, from the bottom of my heart, I am pained by that because I think it's so unfair. I think it is so unfair. And the first time that I ever realized how painful something like that can be, I was watching the documentary Lena Horne, her own voice, or my own voice, and she was saying that she just never fit in, but she didn't say it in that way. But they put her as the lead for one of those big bands. Not that she could sing so well, but that she looked beautiful in the dress, right? Does she look good in the dress? Okay, we'll take her. And on the other side of the spectrum, you had Ella Fitzgerald, who looked like Ella Fitzgerald. And I remember watching her documentary, and they said, well, how does she look? But she could sing really well. Well, then we'll have her. And both women are huge talents, right? Both women were huge talents. And it's such a shame that that was what decided their value and their worth. In Ella Fitzgerald's case, you better know how to sing. And in Lena Horne's case, she said, I was a singer, and along the way, I became an artist. So she did really work hard at her craft. And she went on to greatness, as we all know. But she didn't want to go to Hollywood. She wanted to stay in New York. But they forced her, not really forced her, but people were telling her, you got to get in the movies. You got to get in the movies. Well, once she got out there, and if you guys have, if you know the story, you know the story. When she got out there, the black people in Hollywood, the ones who played the domestics, they were furious with her because they were satisfied just to be in movies. They weren't expecting anything greater than what they were already doing. And they didn't like the idea that here comes this outsider from New York who looks the way she looks. And anyway, it did not go over well because she had a contract, thanks to her father, negotiated a contract that said that she doesn't play, well, you know, working girls. I'll say, I don't want to say the word, but a working girl, if you know what I mean. She doesn't play domestics or maids and cooks and stuff like that. This is what her father told Louis B. Mayer. Louis B. Mayer is looking at this black man, speaking to him in a way that he's never heard a black person speak. And of course, he even went on to tell Louis B. Mayer that if my daughter wanted a maid, I can hire her one. He went out there with his chest stuck out, and she brought her father because she was, you know, afraid of being taken advantage of or whatever. So her father went to California with her, right? Went to Hollywood with her. And it didn't take long before that's exactly what they were trying to do. They were trying to get her to play the maid and the cook and the this and the that and the working girl. And she refused. So she did have a few cameos, but sometimes her name never even appeared in the credit. They thought that she was this Latino. Who was that Latino in the movie? She was very good. And finally, what was it? Cabin in the Sky and the whatever that other movie was that she did that was so good. And but she caught hell. So she wanted to go back to New York, and she got on the train and she left because she just could not stand the pressure from the black people, from the white people. Everybody seemed to have an opinion. That's a lot of pressure for someone who just wants to be an artist. She didn't want to be a credit to this and the first to that. She just wanted to sing. That was what gave her joy. So she goes back to New York, as the story goes. This is her words, that she went back to New York and she had on this new fur coat that she bought, and she started going back to the clubs in Harlem and such. And they were like, what are you doing here? You got to go back to California because you're the one that's going to break down those barriers for us. And I'm telling you, my eyes filled with tears listening to her describe the pressure she was under because of her appearance, because she would be the one who could break down these barriers for everyone else. You got to go represent all of us. She was just a kid. Well, relatively speaking. That's a lot of pressure to put on someone. And so when people are assuming that someone's trying to pass or they're trying to get by, and they never recognize that this is just an individual like everyone else. They did not ask for all of that, but that's what they were given. So it was a very painful lesson, but I've watched that documentary several times, and it was very enlightening. Very enlightening. All that glitters is not gold. So if you get a chance, make sure you check it out. I believe it's on it comes on PBS, but I'm sure you can stream it somewhere. Even if you have to rent it, I would say watch it. Okay. And there you go. For the people. I love this. I'm like collecting all of these that I can find. And this one. There you go. Our next president as Captain America. That is very cool. And I love this one too. Anyway, I'm sure that like by next week, they're going to have slogans. They're going to have a particular logo and signage and everything. So don't know what they're going to use yet. I mean, people are taking liberty to do things like this. So I can't wait to see what they come up with. And this made me feel really good today. Look who's home. The president has returned to the White House. He's back home. So obviously he's feeling better. And of course, there is a conspiracy theory that he did not survive his pandemic exposure, which of course is nonsense. But that again shows the desperation of the right wing, that they are just making up stuff. They're saying that he's not alive and that everybody's keeping it secret, and we need proof of life. I'm like, that is not Kate Middleton. That is the president of these United States. He will make an appearance this week. He said he was going to address the country later the week. And so I assume by Thursday, we should hear something from the president. So anyway, he's back at the White House. Now, we're going to end on a very positive note. Check it out. The United States Air Force Thunderbirds. You see that? That's the Thunderbirds. Their sole duty, when there's not a time of war, that is to promote the United States Air Force. The Navy has what does the Navy have? It's the Thunderbirds is the Air Force. The Navy has what does the Navy have? I forgot. Anyway, so that is the Thunderbirds. Well, Howard University grad made history by becoming the first Black woman to be a U.S. Air Force Thunderbird. Captain Romesha Nelson has sealed her place in history as the first African-American woman to become an officer in the United States Air Force Thunderbirds, the official Air Force flight demonstration squadron. According to, because of them, we can, what is that? Anyway, the Thunderbirds elite squadron has only had 332 officers since its founding in 1953. And Captain Romesha is the first Black woman to join the ranks. So congratulations to Captain Nelson, just like, what do you call it? Just like I Dream of Jeannie, Captain Nelson. So let's give her an applause. Okay. And I'm so sorry. It's been an hour and a half. I was trying to push it. Connie Bomber. Hey, Connie Bomber. Our last word for the day: feeling not good enough isn't a sign of your shortcomings. It's a sign that you're outgrowing your comfort zone. So if you're not feeling good enough, it's because you are outgrowing your comfort zone. You are challenging yourself. And that's always important. No pain, no gain, right? So with that, that is our last word for today. Thank you very much, moderators, as usual, keeping this the safe space that it is. And thank you to everyone for your memberships to Royal Sussex, which is still a bargain at just $4.99. And of course, they go all the way up to $99, I think, right? But anyway, the membership started just $4.99. And let me see what else. Yeah, so don't forget on the 25th, they're going to have that interview with Harry for the phone hacking thing, ITV. And let's see, what else do we have to look forward to? That'll be it in the near future. And then whatever else is going to happen, we'll see. Let me see here, Baron. More MAGA crazies are saying President Biden should quit. If Biden quits, Kamala will automatically be president. They are really clueless. Yeah, that's not a good idea. I would love for Kamala to be the incumbent, right? But it's just not a good idea. It would be more work for her to do while she's campaigning. It's such a short period of time, and I think that they're trying to derail her momentum by giving her something else to do and all that kind of stuff. So it would not be worth it. Biden may have slowed down or whatever they accuse him of, but his mind is still sharp. His mind is still sharp. And it takes a lot out of anybody to run for president. I remember when Hillary Clinton got that really bad flu, and it was going around her office and everybody got sick and everything. And she fainted that day. Stuff like that happens. And, Trump is like a what do you call it? Like a bulldozer. He just plows through everything. But even he has slowed down. Even he finds it difficult to say the words that he wants to say. But in any situation, it's up to a professional. You can't really diagnose a person from a distance. So there's no reason why Biden cannot finish his term as president. He intends to finish. There's no evidence that he is not able to execute his duties. And if I was to try to make a case for him, all I could say is, remember Reagan, the man who didn't have Alzheimer's until the check cleared, and then all of a sudden he could not be around the public any longer. I believe people knew that he had Alzheimer's long before he left the White House. And nobody's talking about it. So in Biden's case, that is not the case. He is slowed down a bit. He don't have the energy to do that type of campaigning. He just doesn't. And I love him for trying it, but it does not mean that he's not in full command of his faculties. There is a difference. So, and of course, I believe he said, as so long as his doctor says it's okay, then it's okay. And again, if it's good enough for Kate Middleton, it's good enough for the President of the United States. So thank you so much for that, Joan Garcia. Oh, thank you very much, Deborah Anderson, for the super sticker. And, well, sorry, I tried to make it out of here in an hour, but it just wasn't meant to be. But we'll try it again tomorrow. All right, love you guys. I will see you tomorrow. We are going to end with the Ginger Avenger.
from being shunted from one group of strangers to when my parents divorced. Throughout my childhood, they pursued their own lives with little time for me. My father into the sporting life on the fringes of the rackets. My mother chasing her fairy tale dreams of life in the theater. The only stabilizing influences in my life were my Brooklyn grandparents, stalwart members of the black bourgeoisie. Their home was a periodic refuge from being shunted from one group of strangers to another, mostly in the South, while my mother was on the road. My nomadic childhood taught me to hide my feelings. I would smile and try hard to fit in, but I mostly felt like an outsider. My favorite books were always about orphans. I became very secretive. I became very suspicious of everyone. I became unable to be my real self. I was like two people, two Lenas, the one I showed the world and the one inside of me. I was 15 when my grandmother died. I felt I'd lost the core of me. The daughter of an ex-slave, she became a college graduate and a social activist. She taught me to love learning, and I dreamed of being a teacher. So I cried when my mother pulled me out of school to work at the Cotton Club, which was really a form of indentured servitude. I was signed for a lifetime contract. So when we wanted to leave, we literally had to flee in the night and headed for Philadelphia, where I got a job touring with Noble Sissel's orchestra. Life on the road is unpleasant for any band, but for a black band traveling in the Jim Crow South, it was pure hell. On top of that, my mother was with me and determined to protect my virtue and her dreams of stardom for me.
Okay, so if you didn't recognize that, that was Lena Horne. I'm telling you, that was a very powerful documentary. Lena Horne, in her own words, make sure you check it out. I'll try to find the link for you and put it on the community tab. But yeah, you can just hear um, the experiences that she had in her voice. You could just hear it. All of the anxiety, all of the shortcomings, all of the pressure. And that was just one person. There were a lot of Lena Horns back in those days. So, okay, love you guys. I'll see you tomorrow.